And that's how I look at it. What makes him get more respect than me? You my next door neighbor, you know what I tell him? You got yours from your family. I got mine from the ground up, from hard work and dedication.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. He's a brilliant defensive fighter. His speed, his boxing savvy. He's just a savant. He's just something special, no question about it. But I gotta look at the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world.
Dude, Floyd's way is safe. Not in a punk, but it's like the safe way, like nothing ain't gonna go wrong. But that's how he fight. That's his characteristic.
Floyd Mayweather blew up after Stephen A. Smith downplayed his career and even suggested that Terrence Crawford could beat him. Stephen A. argued that Floyd isn't the greatest fighter ever, despite how he promotes himself, and claimed that Sugar Ray Leonard was on another level. He also said that Mayweather's best work was at lightweight, and that he never dominated as much when he moved up in weight. Smith brushed off the win over Canelo Alvarez as nothing special, which infuriated Mayweather, who wasn't about to stay quiet in the face of that kind of criticism.
Not just about your skill set, it's who you do it against.
Your level of competition. Is it possible that he's so far beyond his level of competition that he made it look easy?
Well, I think he did as a lightweight. When he went up to the welterweight division, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
taking out Canelo the way he took out.
Well, he just gave him a boxing lesson, but Canelo was 22 years old. See, I remember
That's an excuse, though.
Well,
I don't like this, like he's 22, he's too young.
I will tell you this. Well, you know, you do have to take that into consideration.
The guy had 100 fights.
Well, let me explain. You have to take that into consideration when boxing is the issue. Now, if he got knocked on his ass, that's different. But when he simply got schooled, when you swinging a punch and Floyd is tapping you on your shoulder saying, I'm behind you, that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a skill, like, you know,
Well, we could credit Floyd with that.
Of course, I am crediting. I'm saying he's a brilliant boxer. You know, Floyd knew how to move before you even threw the damn punch. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be a veteran to know how to overcome that. You can't put a novice into the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. You understand? He's going to school you. What I'm saying to you is that if you wanna make an argument on Floyd Money Mayweather's half, which I'm not summarily dismissing, I would tell you it's this. Floyd Money Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Boxing analyst Dawood Bey gave a thoughtful comparison between Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford, especially after Crawford's impressive performance against Canelo. Bey admitted that, as a fan, he leaned slightly toward Crawford in a fantasy matchup, but stressed the need for balance in the conversation. Crawford's victory over Canelo was historic, and many were quick to say it topped anything Floyd had ever done. But Bey reminded people that Mayweather already beat Canelo convincingly years earlier, back when Canelo was still developing. Bey said it's unfair to dismiss Floyd's greatness while praising Crawford. Both men brought something unique to the sport. Crawford's dominant win deserves credit, but Mayweather's victory over Canelo was just as historic and can't be overlooked.
That Bud goes about it a little bit better than Floyd in this sense. Floyd will when Floyd fought Canelo, he was standing right there. He wasn't running and all of that. He wasn't doing all of the stuff that they say, oh, runner, Mayweather's a runner. He wasn't doing that versus Canelo. He was right there. And I can't even really remember Canelo catching him like that, like with nothing. With Bud, I could remember Canelo catching Bud a couple times, but Bud gave him the, all right, put your foot out, what's up? Boxing turn, boxing turn, boxing turn. And was really standing there and giving it to him with another type of energy. The energy is more so all right, what's up? You can't beat me. Floyd energy be bop, bop, I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? They don't really be respecting that all the time. They'll acknowledge it yo, I ain't gonna lie, he hard to catch. But they be nah, you didn't beat me up. Bud go about his fights in a way where as though the Mexican fan base gotta be I ain't gonna lie, Canelo, he hollered at you. He came at you too. He didn't just be better than you. He was better, and then he was all right, I'm gonna come at you. And I think they really respect that. Shit, I respect it. I don't think it's not, I think the less you get hit, the better. I'm always gonna take it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? As a boxing fan, the kind of boxing fan that I am, I would have leaned towards Floyd's performance, but Bud's performance was If I'm a casual fan, I'd rather watch the way Bud do it.
Trainer Bozy Ennis spoke with passion about Terence Crawford's place in the sport. He pushed back against critics who try to minimize Crawford's achievements, saying Crawford has consistently proven himself as one of the best of his generation. According to Bozy, Crawford never shied away from risk. He's the type of fighter who takes on dangerous opponents without hesitation. That mindset, constantly challenging himself against the best, is what sets him apart. Bozy insisted people should stop downplaying what Crawford has done and start recognizing that very few fighters in boxing history have shown the same mix of versatility, courage, and success.
I think he could have got the stoppage. He'll tell you that if he had to sit down a little bit more. And what I tell you, Terence can fight and he can box. And he can fight. He'll fight inside. He take chances, man. You know what I mean? And that's how you be great, man. And he one of the greatest out there now. I think he's great. I think he's the best out there right now in that division. You know what I mean?
What's left?
For Terence?
Yeah.
If I was Terence, I would retire. That's what I would do. He did everything, man. He done everything, man. You know what I mean? He don't have any titles he don't want. All that stuff, you know what I mean? I think I'll go off one in the sunset, man. You know what I mean? You don't need no more money. You know what I mean?
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, shared his belief that Crawford still has more big nights ahead of him. He thinks Crawford could take 2 or 3 more fights before retiring. Bomac even mentioned the possibility of Crawford moving up to 160 pounds. For him, it's not only about collecting more belts, but also about leaving behind a legacy that's already Hall of Fame worthy. Crawford has already cemented his name in history with multiple undisputed titles across weight divisions. But adding more championships in higher classes would only strengthen that legacy. Bomac emphasized that Crawford isn't chasing validation anymore. He's building a career that only legends dare to attempt.
The second time. They can't take it away from him neither.
Does this one mean more to you than the other ones?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity as a team to go into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a fighter going in there, instead of a coach going in there, it gives us a better chance of going there as a team.
Well, congrats on that. I know that means a lot to you and the team.
Definitely that.
You know, I asked Bud this after the fight 2 weeks ago. Would he consider this a signature win? He said, yeah, one of them. Do you think that was his signature win of his career?
Well, the last fight?
Yeah, the Canelo one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the underdog. Everybody thought that, you know, he was going to get beat.
What's up?
He was going to get beat. Surprising.
So what's next for Bud? What do you want to see him do?
I just want to see him, you know, spend time with his family because, you know, training for a fight, you be gone a long time. You're going away from your family. And it could take a toll on you after a while. So,
as his trainer, do you feel like he should just sell off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
you know what? They made it look so easy. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, got 2, 3 more in him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder. You know what I'm saying?
Former world champion Timothy Bradley spoke emotionally about the influence Terence Crawford has on younger fighters. He explained that many up-and-coming boxers struggle with doubt, especially when critics tear them down. But Crawford proved what can be achieved with determination and consistency. Despite all the doubts early in his career, he silenced critics again and again with dominant performances. Bradley said Crawford's journey has become a source of hope for the next generation. His accomplishments, multiple-time undisputed champion across different divisions, show that hard work can overcome any obstacle. To Bradley, Crawford isn't just a champion in the ring, but also a role model who embodies perseverance and belief in oneself.
And the man that you have become, you're a true inspiration to the youth, man. Anybody that's troubled, any troubled kid out there, man, they can look at you and say, hey, man, I got a fighting chance to get myself out the situation. All I got to do is make that choice. That's what you did, Crawford. You made that choice, man. You made that choice to change, bro. You know, you saw going down, man, years ago, man, in 2008, man, when that bullet came through that window, you knew you had to do something or you'll end up 6 feet under, bro. You know, So that courage that you had, man, and that will that you had and that mindset to change, man, and the gym, you know, grooming you and turning you into a man, because that's what boxing does. See, people don't understand, man, that boxing is more than just throwing punches. You know, boxing teaches you discipline. You know, it teaches you love for people, love for others, man. You know, working together. You know, you're there constantly every single day, man. You know, spending time there perfecting a craft, man. Perfecting yourself, understanding yourself, learning more about yourself each and every single day. You push it inside the gym. You know, boxing is more than just throwing punches, man. You know.
Oladipo reflected on Floyd Mayweather's career and said his journey went beyond just boxing. Floyd carefully built two personas, Pretty Boy Floyd and Money Mayweather. Early on, Pretty Boy was the fearless knockout artist who took big risks. Later, Money Mayweather became the ultimate businessman, mastering defense and turning every fight into a global spectacle. His pay-per-view numbers and marketing genius made him larger than the sport itself. Oladipo said Floyd's brilliance wasn't only in the ring. He also revolutionized the business side of boxing, creating a model that many fighters try to copy today. By blending skill with entertainment, Floyd became more than just a fighter. He became a cultural icon and the architect of boxing's modern economic era.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s, and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes, and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument of, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm going to work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm going to work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had obviously the fights, right?
After Crawford's stunning win over Canelo, debate broke out about his future. Some insiders, including people close to his camp, suggested he should retire now to protect his legacy. Their view is that Crawford has already done everything needed to be remembered as one of the greatest. But others aren't satisfied and continue to downplay his win, saying he should step away before his reputation declines. This has caused tension in boxing circles. Many fans argue that Crawford still has plenty left, and his performances show no signs of slowing down. Retirement is an option, but whether he fights again or not, Crawford's legacy as one of the sport's all-time greats is already secure.
The fact that Terence Crawford did what he did against Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford made himself the face of boxing, and he did it. He made it look easy. He made the Errol Spence fight look easy. That was supposed to be the toughest test of his career. I thought it was. The whole world thought it was. It was the easiest fight he had at welterweight. I thought, but I've been saying for years that he's gonna easily beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did. But many people expected Canelo to knock him out. That wasn't the case. With that said, now people are trying to throw. He's 38. Tomorrow, Terence Crawford will be 38 years old. He's a 5-division champion. If he wants to stick around, like Terence Crawford stated, okay, Terence Crawford stated, if I do stick around, I'm not dropping down no further than 160 pounds. If he stays in boxing, I say he have 2 more fights. Fight Janibek, who's the unified champion. Hopefully Carl Sadamas and Lara fight and unify the belts. 2 fights at 160, pad the stats, become a 6-division champion and a 4-division undisputed champion. Cool. Other than that, Terence Crawford needs to retire.
Trainer Robert Garcia also weighed in on the Mayweather versus Crawford debate. He pointed out that while Mayweather's record and success are unmatched, Floyd never became an undisputed champion, a feat that both Crawford and Manny Pacquiao achieved. Garcia said that accomplishment gives Crawford a unique place in boxing history. Even so, he personally leans toward Mayweather in a head-to-head comparison. Garcia explained that Mayweather's defense, timing, and intelligence inside the ring would be overwhelming for almost anyone, even Crawford. For him, Mayweather's ability to completely shut down opponents made him a nightmare to face. Garcia respects Crawford's achievements, but believes Floyd's mastery of fundamentals keeps him on top.
Man, he doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions, undisputed. Is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweather, with the Pacquiao. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more. Pacquiao was 8 divisions, so we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Trainer Greg Hackett offered his own perspective by comparing how Floyd and Crawford performed against Canelo. He argued that when Floyd fought Canelo, Mayweather was already the complete package, polished, calm, and flawless over 12 rounds. Crawford, by contrast, fights more aggressively and adapts on the fly, but Hackett said Floyd's execution and control were unmatched. To him, Mayweather's performance against Canelo was boxing perfection. Crawford's explosiveness is impressive, but Floyd's calculated brilliance was on another level. Stephen A. Smith also praised Crawford's recent win over Canelo, calling it one of the most exciting performances of recent years. He highlighted how Crawford, the smaller man moving up, completely dominated a bigger, stronger opponent. Smith applauded Crawford for combining skill with entertainment, saying the sport needs fighters like him who can deliver both technical mastery and memorable spectacles.
But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was a severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay?
Veteran journalist Dan Raphael took a long-term view of Crawford's career. He argued that Crawford no longer needs to fight to prove anything. His legacy is already set. With undisputed titles in multiple divisions, wins over top-level opponents, and a reputation for dominance, his record speaks for itself. According to Raphael, fighters at this stage should focus on protecting their legacy, not chasing unnecessary risks. Whether Crawford decides to continue fighting or retire now, his place as one of the sport's legends is secure.
But he's stood in the pocket, like he's not moving anywhere from him. He's using his head moving, he's not being stupid, but he's not necessarily moving away from Canelo. Like you said, he's walking the, quote unquote, bigger man down and forcing the action rather than going off, reacting to Canelo's attacks. So I think it was such an impressive display, but it sort of begs the question now, when you've a 3-time undisputed champion, I know money's important, financials, we always talk about that, his legacy is intact regardless. We'll start with Terence. What does a Terence Crawford do now? Like what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made 2 things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down to weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fans. So I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, but I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavidez at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight.
And that's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more. Until next time,